hopefully somebody comes with something that we can got us to, we want.
You're good.
Good morning, this is Health Committee, March 7th, 2023 at 9 AM, and would you please take roll call?
Dugat.
Here.
Geiger.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
Awful.
Here. All right, can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Everybody get a chance to look at the claims? May I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Any discussion, or a second? Any discussion? Would you take the call, please?
Dugat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes. Public comment, any public? None. Animal control, Jill.
Okay, so for the month of February, we had a deposit for registration of $3,745. We did mail out over 5,000 registration due notices between last week and this week, so hopefully this month will be, we'll see a spike in that coming into us. So we currently have 4 cases open now. We have 1 dog waiting to get placed. We have 1 well-checked neglect case that they're working on, and 1 bite report. And then we also have 3 dogs that we picked up this morning that were from an accident. So those will get redeemed. It's just a matter of when the owner gets released. So not too concerned about that one. The officers closed 35 cases in February. We had 15 dogs running loose, 2 bite reports closed, 7 abandoned non-claimed dogs, 5 well checks, 2 aggressive dogs, 2 possible dog thefts, 1 accident pickup, and we had a skunk. The reason we got the skunk, we don't normally deal with skunks, but this individual called the health department directly and had some concerns because it got into it with the dog, and then it also, the person had contact with the skunk. So I went ahead and had that set up to where our animal control warden went ahead and picked up that skunk and just took it in for testing, and it did come back negative. So that's all I have for you.
When you said you had 2 aggressive dogs, how do you deal with those?
Well, we got reports of them being aggressive dogs, so the officers went out. What they do is they'll talk to the owners, they'll assess the dog, they'll educate them first on how to, because these dogs don't have any history of, they didn't bite anybody, they weren't aggressive towards the officers. We haven't been out there before, so they'll just educate them the first time on, hey, we've had some complaints. This is what you need to do. Let's work on, leashing. If the leashing's not working, harnesses are usually our answer with aggressive bigger dogs. Let's look at your fencing situation. Is there something that the dog is specifically aggressive towards, another person walking a dog? So there's a lot of information that they gather, and then they'll educate first. If we have to go out again, then it's usually an area where they'll have to cite them for not doing what they were educated on.
So when you pick up an aggressive dog, then what?
Well, I've been pretty fortunate in the couple of years that I've been in this position. We've had to put 1 down because it was extremely aggressive. We haven't really encountered too many extremely aggressive dogs. We've encountered a few that have been a little shell-shocked, and there's something to be said about their psyches. We've had some that the owners have had for quite a while, and they just abandon them. And sometimes those dogs just need some time, and they need little human interaction that brings them back out, and they're usually fine. So we've only had 1 really aggressive one that we've had to put down. So.
All right, well, thanks, Jill. Any questions for Jill? All right, let's do our Iroquois County Public Health with Eric Sixty. Good morning, Eric.
Good.
You want one?
Could we get these electronically?
Yeah, sure.
I'll send you a note.
That's great. Hey, you want one?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. If you got one.
Okay. So, program summary report. On the front page, environmental, you'll notice one new line that we've added, farmers market inspections. 0, we haven't, last month we discussed the new fee. Y'all approved that, the full board approved that. We haven't had any applications yet. It's not farmers market season yet, so it's not surprising. But, so we've done 0 inspections, so that's a new line.
Will you do farmers markets within communities? Like Watsika, if they have one in their community, will we still be involved?
Within municipalities, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we would. Specifically, what we're looking at is we've reached out to organizations that we know that host farmers markets regularly. Reach out to them, letting them know the new requirement and the new accessibility of those products to vendors. If they have vendors, we're hoping that they will let us know ahead of time, but we will go to those farmers markets that we already know exist.
Thank you.
Let's see, we've had a couple reopenings, and openings. And then we've had, 3 food complaints. One, I discussed with y'all last month that ended up on, February's report. Another one of those food complaints was at a small local grocery store. And they had their freezers go out. They were out for 3 hours before they were fixed, and they were already working on it and already throwing out the products that went bad before we even arrived, so. But just a customer called and complained, so we had to follow up. And then a third complaint was at a different grocery store, which we found to be unfounded. So, that's what those were. Water samples, you notice we have 3 unsatisfactory samples. Two of those are for the same well that was being worked on. And sometimes we'll see that, or a new well is being created or being fixed. We'll have maybe 2, 3 bad samples before they actually come up clean and they're actually done with the well. And one of those that has to do with a real estate transaction. So, here we have it. And that's really the things that stick out for numbers on the environmental health program. Other news in environmental health, we do have a new associate sanitarian. They started their training and they even started doing food inspections on their own. So we're back to this. Any questions on that before we move on to the next page? Okay, community health. Let's see, just trying to pick up the things that stand out. We've had 3 COVID-19 outbreaks during the month of February. 2 of those have already subsided, 1 of those is ongoing. All 3 were at long-term care facilities within Iroquois County. The Haemophilus influenza invasive, that was not a case. It was an investigation, but turned out to be not a real case. However, the hepatitis C that was confirmed, the histoplasmosis was not a real case. The 1 rabies that you see close to the bottom of the page, that was the skunk that referred to. After we got that phone call, we followed up with Illinois Department of Public Health, trying to determine the risk of the skunk. And they instructed us, yes, there is rabies risk with the skunk, they can't carry it. It's just the circumstances. Just do safety tests. Streptococcal disease group A, you see 2 there. 1 of those was confirmed, 1 of those was not a case. Any questions on this page before I flip again? Okay, nothing really new with the tuberculosis program. Underneath international travel consultations, you see 1. We had a resident call in, they're planning to travel to a foreign country, and they called us to really ask, hey, I'm planning to travel here, what vaccines do you recommend?
So how do you know what they have to have? Do you have a booklet to go by or?
We go directly off of what we can get from the CDC. So pretty much we'll just go into the CDC website, because that information changes all the time, especially with different endemics that are happening internationally. So we'll always just make sure to go to the website and get our information as current as possible. On the community outreach events, you see numerous educational presentations, Narcan, so on and so forth. Underneath the other, there's one that was an Alzheimer's consultation. We have an Alzheimer's program that's relatively new, it'll stay here with us. Mainly what we do with that is education. We'll do 10 health benefit fairs, distribute materials, and we also try to do a social media campaign at least once a month, educating the public on Alzheimer's awareness. This is a resident just called in, had some questions.
Is there any way that, there could be some kind of a support group that you guys could do? There's, families?
That's something to consider, I'll get back to you about that.
Or would be something that,
Cause it's getting more and more out there.
Okay, moving right along. Nothing terribly stands out on this page, unless there's any questions, I'll keep flipping. Alrighty then. And on the next page, nothing terribly stands out, you notice on any senior services, our shopping trips are going down. It's really going down to a normal. In December, you see 97, that was one of our highest months we've ever had. And that program does end June 30th. It's temporary, we have a temporary employee to assist us with that. So, those numbers are coming down, that's really okay, but we continue to do that. Specific to senior services, our director did resign, and we have the position posted, we have a handful of applicants, so we'll be filling that position very soon. And I got a couple other things that are not on the report, but before I move on, any questions? All right. Then in other news, we did have one additional resignation. Our finance officer turned in their resignation yesterday. Was that's a full day in the office. That individual was working on a transition plan with me, so I can get a new financial officer in, and they will come part-time to train them. Deanne Shippert, her last day as administrative consultant was February 28th, so she is now retired. Let's see, there's a new grant available to the Iroquois County Public Health Department through IDPH. A new vaccination grant, it's not competitive, it's $100,000, I believe it's non-matching. I intend on applying for that, and we'll be using that already for salaries and other vaccination efforts. And that's the gist, but if there are any questions, I don't know if that's the answer.
thank you much. All right, do we have any old business? New business? Have a motion to adjourn. Any second? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.